So, chapter 13, no introductions. I have to find out what happens next. What is going to happen? Lucky woke up screaming. It's alright. A gentle voice spoke above him. It's alright, Lucky. He opened his eyes. He was back in the Sunfire's main cabin. The crew were all staring at him, but it was no fire streaming from his fingers, no light pouring from his heart. It's gone, he thought. I'm alive. Somehow, I survived. You've been unconscious for so long, said Mystica. We were worried. He took a huge slug of air into his lungs. He felt exhausted. His head, his hands, his whole body ached. He could still feel that awful pain shooting across his skull, splitting open his brain. And then he realised that he was naked. Someone had put a silver blanket over him, but underneath it he was completely naked and covered in ash. Again. His skin began to crawl. Where are the pirates? What happened to them? It would seem, said Captain Knox, horns glinting, that you destroyed them. Nothing left of them but ashes, said Bixer. She looked impressed. Now, a blaster might be able to do that at close range, but their weapons were all melted too. So how did you do it? I don't know, said Lucky, heart hammering in his chest. How could he tell them? He'd killed 3 people and brought the whole ship into danger, not just from the pirates, but from himself. He could have killed them all. No wonder his mother had looked so scared when she found his burned sheet. No wonder she'd made him promise never to tell. But Mystica was staring at him in that strange way again, as though she could see right into his brain. We don't normally approve of violence, as you know, she said. But in this case, we owe you thanks, Lucky. You're not angry with me? Course not, said Bixie. You did a good job. I don't think even I could have done it that well. So why don't you just tell us how you did it? Come on, you're my training partner. Don't hold out on me. I'm not holding out, he said. I just don't... What? You think stupid eyeball-eating aliens can't understand you? Is that it? Lucky looked down, shamed by her words. He dreaded what might happen when they learned the truth. But what choice was there? He couldn't keep this to himself anymore. It had gone too far. He took a deep, deep breath and he told them everything he knew. And to his surprise, it was relief to say it all out loud. He thought it would sound crazy, but they didn't question it or get angry. They just listened, very quietly. I see it now, said Mystica when he was finished. There are so many mysteries here, but one thing is clear to me. What happened with those pirates was not your fault. You destroyed them because you left them. They left you no choice. But I didn't want to destroy them, he said, choking at his memory. I didn't even know I could do that. He bit his lip. What's wrong with me, Mystica? What's going on? It appears you have some kind of power, she replied. Some kind of gift. Gift? He shut his eyes. It doesn't feel like a gift. It feels more like a curse. It feels... He couldn't bring himself to say the word evil out loud. He pulled the blanket tight around himself and tried to stand up. He was unsteady. His legs were weak. Every part of him felt raw. Bixer reached out and gave him a hand, but there was a strange expression on her face. What, he said. What is it? Nothing, said Bixer. Her voice was edgy, her needles an uncertain tawny shade. It's just... You're still my training partner, right? Of course I am. I still get to kick your ass, even though you've got some kind of weirdo power now. Weirdo power? Lucky gaped at him. Bixer, please. She grinned and stuck her tongue out at him. You better get dressed or I'll kick your naked ass right now. And somehow he couldn't help smiling back. He didn't mind her rudeness. It made everything seem more normal somehow. He reached his kit bag and pulled some new clothes on. Thankfully his mother had packed plenty. She must have known he'd be needing them. How he wished he could talk to her just once more. She could make sense of this mind-bending mystery. She would make it all okay. But he was alone with the mystery. Completely alone. You're not alone, said Mystica softly, startling him. Can she mind read? Our legends tell of many people who had gifts like yours. It's our belief that these gifts come from the stars. They are the source of all power. And sometimes they allow people to channel that power. The stars work through us, you see, in ways we do not always understand. Lucky shivered. How'd you know that? Because some such people are still alive today. Her eyes glowed gold as she looked deep inside him and seemed to come to a decision. You have trusted me with your secret, Lucky. Now I will trust you with mine, for I, like you, have such a gift. She drew herself up, grand and proud. I am a Startalker, she said. The inside of his scalp felt like it was tingling. What's a Startalker? Someone who is connected to a star, said Mystica. If you are a Startalker, you fill everything your star fills. Your destinies are linked. You share your lives. You call to one another. You can hear each other. Stars can call. Lucky felt hot and cold at the same time, sweaty and shivery at once. He felt like he was standing on the edge of something huge. Of course, your human science doesn't recognize it, but the stars have spirits. They have intelligence. There is nothing they cannot do. And because everything came from the stars, they know the truth of all things. So we Startalkers feel the truth of any situation. You cannot hide anything from a Startalker. Can you read people's minds? He gulped. Not exactly. Mystica looked up at the ceiling, vaulting high above them. As the stars call across the immensities of space, like great whales singing in the ocean's deep or bells chiming out, like silver in the black, we hear their songs and we feel the truth inside ourselves, and we cannot help but speak it, even if it makes things difficult. She peered at him. What is it, Lucky? Why are you looking at me like that? Her words had stirred something in his mind, a memory buried at the edge of his consciousness. Just before he'd burned the pirates, he'd heard something, a small, soft, silvery sound, like the chime of a faraway bell. He'd heard that sound before, hadn't he? It was the sound of the stars singing in his dreams. The dreams had always slipped away by morning, but now the memories were flooding back to him. I think I've heard the stars too, he stammered. Mystica peered into his eyes. Indeed. What do they sing to you? I'm not sure. I can't understand the words. A shudder ran through him as he remembered the dreams, and then recalled those scorching faces staring back at him in the astrolabe. So, are there other Startalkers? He asked Mystica. As many as there are stars, she said. In ancient days we were known by different names. Soothsayers, prophets. We were high priests, guardians of truth and destiny, watcher over worlds. But some Startalkers have always had special responsibilities, above and beyond the rest. In our time, those duties fall to the Startalkers connected to the three brightest stars of this galaxy, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Aquarius. Each of us has a different power, a different kind of knowledge. There is the Startalker of the present, the Startalker of the past, and the Startalker of the future. You're one of them. I am the Startalker of the present, said Mystica. I feel what is happening right now in this moment. This is my domain. And what about me, said Lucky, every hair on his body prickling. Do I have the same power as you? Am I a Startalker? She stroked her chin. Well, I know who the Startalkers of the past and future are, and you are certainly not one of them. Besides, I never heard of a Startalker who burst into flames. But these are not ordinary times. Anything is possible. You may be a new kind of Startalker, one we have not seen before. She glanced at Bixer and Frolics. They both looked away. Be sure of one thing, though. Having a gift like this is never easy. It is a huge responsibility, and not everyone who has such powers wants them. Bixer's needles darkened at her words. Frolics just laughed. Wait a minute, said Lucky. Are you saying Frolics and Bixer are Startalkers too? I am not a Startalker, muttered Bixer under her breath. But you will be one day, said Mystica, her face wrinkled with lines of pain. I shan't be here forever, you know. When I am gone, you will take my place, and when the Professor goes, Frolics will succeed him. You've always known this, yet neither of you will accept your power, constantly fighting, taking nothing seriously. Come on, Mystica, drawled Frolics, putting his hooves up on the table. Can you imagine me being all wise and stuff? It ain't never gonna happen. No, not if you don't grow up and take your responsibility. But we don't want that responsibility, said Bixer. We never asked for it. I understand your feelings, my dear, but much better than you might imagine, replied the old lady. But alas, we do not always get a choice. Alas, snorted Frolics. You Startalkers were almost wiped out by your own people. Does that sound like something anyone would choose? There was an awkward, painful silence. Then Mystica sighed wearily. Frolics is right about one thing, she told Lucky. With the coming of the war, it became dangerous to be a Startalker. So we went into exile, scattered across space, and hid ourselves away. That's why this is a secret, and why you must keep it. But do you understand now? You are not the only one with secrets and gifts. Far from it. Here on this ship, you are not alone. He stared at each of them in turn. Not alone. The words comforted him a little. So what do you think I should do? He asked her. I cannot tell you what to do. Others may have their opinions, but only you can know for sure. So I think you need to learn more about this gift of yours before you make any decisions. She coughed. A painful fit that shook her whole body. She drew her furs closer round her and adjusted her headscarf. Does anyone else know about your powers? She managed to say at last. My mother knew. She said my father warned her it was going to happen, so he must too. Then you were right to go looking for him, said Mystica, and you must keep looking until you find him, for his knowledge may hold the key. She glanced at Captain Knox. We've made good time. We're near the outskirts of the Leo system now. I can take you to see the professor and get your astrolabe repaired. Oh, thank you, said Lucky. Thank you so much. But Captain Knox was now scowling. Mystica, I've done what you asked and brought us here, but I will not let you run such risks. You're not well enough to go out into a dangerous planet. You're staying on the ship, and I'm staying here to look after you. Lucky peered at her. She did seem very frail and weak. For all the bright colours of her clothes, her skin was pale, almost translucent. Are you okay, Mystica? He asked. I am fine, she smiled. I would love to come with you, for the man you need to see is my old comrade, the Startalker of the past. And I have not seen him for many years, but perhaps the captain is right. She turned to Frolics and Bixer. You two must do it. Take Lucky to see the professor, and invite my comrade back to the ship while you're there. I suspect he may wish to travel with us for a while. Knox stared at Frolics and Bixer. He seemed full of doubts. Can you two take this responsibility seriously? He asked them. For once in your lives, can you stay out of trouble? Can you keep the boy away from danger? Oh, from what I saw of those pirates, he can look after himself. Frolics grinned. But sure, I'll be your bodyguard, Lucky. He flexed his rippling muscles and proudly pulled on his coat of liquid metal. Don't worry, kid. You'll be safe with me. Yeah, right, said Bixer, needles bristling. We all know who's going to look after the pair of you. This is no joke, said the captain, his great horns glinting. If those pirates showed us anything, it's that a human travelling with Axa is bound to attract attention. The Shadow Guards will be out in force after the bombing of Ares 1. Shadow Guards, gulped Lucky. Naturally. And what are we going to do if they find him and rip his brain scan? We'll make him one of us, of course, sighed Mystica. We'll give him horns. We'll give him hooves. We'll make his eyes burn. You'll do what? Said Lucky. He looked around at the others, but it was as if Mystica had dropped a stone into the cabin. All conversation stopped dead at her words. Bixer and Frolics both turned away, their faces ashen. At last Knox stood up, face like thunder. Do whatever you must, he said darkly. Frolics, come with me to the cockpit. Our Startalker has spoken. Let's get this ship to Leo 5. It's a long one, I can't say too much, but my goodness, are we getting somewhere in this story now. I've enjoyed this throughout with you guys reading this, but after Lucky's attack in the last chapter and finding out that he's a Startalker, and finding out more, SF said has carefully trickled us information. We're now getting to the bit. I'm looking forward to meeting the professor. I don't think the astrolabe is broken. I think Lucky uses it in a different way, but we'll see. Right, on to the next chapter.